Hello, this video is going to be about memorizing the unit circle and how you can easily memorize it. So you already know the unit circle is comprised of special right triangles, either a 30, 60, 90 or a 45, 45, 90. And that reference angle, as we see in the first quadrant, is used to create all the coordinates around here. Now, you also know that the radius of the unit circle is 1 unit. So this was 1, this was 1, this was 1, and so is this. So you can easily figure out these values, 1, 0, 0, 1, negative 1, 0, 0, negative 1, if you were thinking this was on a coordinate plane. Now, look at the pattern in the values here. You always see these same numbers constantly repeating themselves. Square root of 3 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, 1/2. The only difference is that it's positive or negative. And look at this. All of these values right here are over 2. Look at the top value. There's a square root of 3. There's a square root of 2. This is the same as square root of 1, except for square root of 1 is equal to 1. And here we have square root of 1, square root of 2, square root of 3. So as long as you can remember at least two of these coordinates, square root of 3, comma 1/2 over 2, comma 1/2, and square root of 2, comma square root of 2 over 2, you should be able to come up with all of these points. And here's why. Notice the pi over 4s. Pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4. They're all the square root of 2's over 2. Of course, the signs are just different. Right here where we begin, if we start at the beginning here and we go counterclockwise, because that's the way we move on the unit circle, our first point is square root of 3 over 2. So look at just the x values right now. We have 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. I'm just looking at the top numbers. 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. And that's a pattern around the unit circle. We always start with the square root of 3 over 2, and then we drop it 1 on the top, keeping the bottom the same, drop it 1 on the top, keeping the bottom the same, and as we flip on this side, we reflect across the y-axis here, and when we reflect, we start with these same coordinates. And of course, we know why that is, because this reference angle right here reflects over here, and what it does is creates that reference angle. That's also the reference angle. These square root of whatever, I mean the pi over 3, 2 pi over 3, they have the same coordinates. So all you truly have to remember is 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. If you can remember that, then you know the opposite just goes on the opposite side. So 1, 2, 3, and so on, 3, 2, 1. The coordinates are going to be really easy to place. So let me show you more in detail of what I mean. You're going to get a blank coordinate plane like this. Again, all you really have to know is this first quadrant because everything else reflects. So as long as you can remember 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, that should be able to give you all of your coordinates. So 3, so we start with the square root of 3 over 2, 2, square root of 2 over 2, 1, 1/2. I reflect over here because that's the same point. So I go back with 1, and then 2, 3, square root of 2 over 2, square root of 3 over 2. Continue where I left off, square root of 3 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, 1/2. Continue where I left off, 1/2, square root of 2 over 2, square root of 3 over 2. Continue where you left off. You can see it works. 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Now the other points here are just the opposite. So instead of the square root of 3 over 2, we're going to put the 1/2 here. So this is going to be 1/2. This is always square root of 2 over 2 throughout the whole unit circle. They always match up. And this is going to be the square root of 3 over 2. And when we reflect over here, it's either the opposite of what we already have, or it's the same point here. So square root of 3 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, 1/2. Continue where we left off, 1/2, square root of 2 over 2, square root of 3 over 2. Continue where we left off. Repeat that. Square root of 2 over 2 and 1/2. And of course it repeats again. Now we have all the coordinates, but we don't want to forget the signs. So in the first quadrant, we're positive and positive. Don't have to change anything. But in the second quadrant, we're going in a negative x direction, positive y. So all these x's are negative. Here we go negative x, negative y. So we'll put negatives on both of these here. And here we have a positive x but a negative y, so our y's will be negative. So that is an easy way to remember the coordinates. Oh, let me put the easy ones in. This one here is 1, 0. This is 0, 1. This is negative 1, 0. This is 0, negative 1. So easy. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. And so on. Now, if you ever forget which one goes first, because you forget it's 3 and you think it's a 1, well, it's reverse counting. It's not up counting. But let's say you did, or you didn't know the order in which to put these. Well, think about this. If I take a look at this triangle right here, that triangle, we know that the distance, there's a right angle, the distance we go over here is our x distance, and our distance up here is our y distance. Now it's evident here which leg is longer. The x is longer than the y. Well, it's not so obvious to see which number here is bigger. But if you use your calculator and you plug in the square root of 3 over 2 and see what the decimal equivalence is, you can see it's about 0.866. Well, you know that this is 0.5. So when you compare these two values, clearly you can see this is the bigger the value right here. Well, x has to be the bigger value because it's the longer leg. So you have to start with the square root of 3 over 2. So that's a little hint on memorizing the unit circle and the coordinates around. I already showed you how you can count by degrees. If you still struggle with that, you can watch that video on Schoology again. And I also showed you how to get the radian measure, but I'm going to actually do that one more time. There's also that separate video on Schoology. So what we're doing here is we're going to take and start here at 0 pi and go around, and we know that that's 2 pi. So we're going to start by just cutting that in half. Half of between 0 pi and 2 pi is just pi. Half of between 0 and pi is pi over 2. And halfway between pi and 2 pi is 3 pi over 2. And then we did our counting. So let's start with our quarters. So the quarters are the x here, so the middle and the middle right here. And we also have to use these quarters here. So we essentially divided this into 8 different parts. And if we take and divide this by 8, what we get is pi over 4. So we're going to count by pi over 4. This is 1 pi over 4. This is 2 pi over 4, already reduced. 3 pi over 4. 4 pi over 4, already reduced. 5 pi over 4. 6 pi over 4, already reduced. And 7 pi over 4. And back to 8 pi over 4, which is 2 pi. And now we're going to take every one that we have not used. This one and this one. This one and this one, and this one and this one, and this one and this one. But in addition to that, notice if we want these to be equal, we also have to choose the x-axis and the y-axis. So this one, this one, this one, so they're equally spaced, and back to that one. And that one right there is going to represent pi over 6. And why? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 of these. If we take 2 pi, I'm just going to do 2. I'm not going to ignore the pi. And we divide that by 12. Look what we get. We get 1 over 6 or pi over 6. So this is going to be 1 pi over 6. This is 2 pi over 6. And this is the one that reduces to pi over 3. Then we have 3 pi over 6. It's already reduced. 4 pi over 6. That one reduces to 2 pi over 3. 5 pi over 6. 6 pi over 6. 7 pi over 6. 8 pi over 6. And this one can reduce. 9 pi over 6, already there. 10 pi over 6, also can reduce. 11 pi over 6, right there. And again, to emphasize, these 4 that could reduce are the pi over 3. And again, we could do the same thing with the degree measure. I'm not going to go over that because I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but again, you can watch that video on Schoology if necessary. So hopefully this helped you memorize the unit circle pattern, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Going all the way around, putting the signs, and then again the degree measure. Have a great day. Bye.